my approach to winter fishing, guys, that time of the year. So let me give you a couple of tips and techniques that I use. I'm sure it's going to help you guys catch more fish on the water. So let's start off with the humble Shakey Head. This is the Z-Man SMH Shakey Head. It's designed for the elastic plastic. It's got a nice line tie there. It's got a nice shape on it. It's got an excellent hook keeper there to keep that elastic plastic on. And it's also got a nice long shank hook for the longer worm. And I'll show you my favorite worm at the moment. It's that guy right there. It's a Z-Man SMH worm. It comes in the packaging like that. Nice clamshell packaging, so your worms come out straight every time. I think it's very important when it comes to fishing a straight tail worm or anything else for that matter, that it comes out nice and straight. Jig heads look like that. You can see there's a nice wire keeper on there, and that holds that elastic on nice and firmly. Let me rig up one for you now. You guys can check what it's all about. So I just go, this bait has got a seam on it. The seam, you can see the seam runs down there. You might not be able to see it on the video, but there's a seam that runs the whole way down the bait. So I just go in with the hook point, pop it out, and then slide it up over this wire keeper. Turn it around. There you can see it's above the wire keeper there, and that's ready to go. From a point of view, it's not going to slide down. That's not going anywhere. All right. And then it's just your standard straight through the plastic, and just tuck that tip in there, and that's ready to go. So guys, this is the SMH worm as mentioned, very, very buoyant. So this, obviously this jig head is going to be on the bottom, stirring up silt, going over the rocks, etc. But this elastic, if you've ever fished the Z-Man before, this elastic formula floats. So this Shakey Head plastic, I mean, this is going to be floating the whole time, and it's going to be really, really enticing. So it's not just going to fall dead on the bottom. It's actually going to have that natural action as you're moving it along. It's always wanting to go back up and trend back upwards, and just that action alone definitely going to entice them to catch, to bite that sucker there. So yeah, I've caught some really good fish on this. Haven't made any videos yet, but don't worry, I plan to sort that out for you guys so you can see this worm in action. This color is green pumpkin goby, and it's also a really nice color. Let's try and get this thing a little bit straighter. But yeah, that's the story. So that's a really good bait this time of year. Good technique, nice finesse style. Chaps, then in terms of leaders, okay, so I'm fishing, this is a 12-pound leader, and the reason for that is fishing venues like Albert Falls, there are big fish around. This is 12-pound Seaguar Abrasics. It's a high abrasion resistance line, and that is, there's a lot of sticks down there. You know, the dam was super low. It's up now, and there's a lot of trees in the water. So I need to have some extra abrasion, so when I hook into a good fish, and he takes me around those trees, I can actually get him out. So you could go down in venues where there's not much cover. You could go 8-pound, 10-pound. Some guys do that, but 12-pound Abrasics, it does the job for me. Perhaps some guys will say that I might get fewer bites on the 12-pound. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but you know, you need to have the right tool for the job, and 12-pound Abrasics, as a leader, will definitely help me get more fish in the boat from that point once I've hooked them. If I need to fight them through the trees, around the trees, or whatever the case might be, there's some really big fish there, and they can be very elusive, very sneaky. So onto that leader, that's my leader line, guys. Then I'll roll with a high-vis yellow braid, and I do a 20-pound braid. Works for me, nice thin diameter, casts a mile. It's very direct because there's no stretch in the line, and obviously that fluorocarbon leader helps with the sensitivity of that. In terms of your spinning rod, I use the Pesca Pro Series drop shot Shakey Head rod. My suggestion and recommendation there would be just, you know, use the best spinning rod that you can afford, you know, designed for that technique. 7'2", 7'4", gives you obviously an extra long cast. If you want to be you know, lobbing that bait out there, those big bomb casts, and working it over rock piles and those kinds of things. Obviously a longer cast is going to help you. If it's windy, a longer cast will assist you having that ability for a long cast, and also that control when you hook that fish, giving you a bit more control. So 7'2", 7'4", those are the lengths that I like to operate with, and the Pesca Drop Shot Shakey Head rod is perfectly suited for this technique. Technique-wise, guys, if you have electronics, it's a lot easier, but you always want to be fishing some form of cover. If it's rocks or timber, or a combination of rock or timber, get this down as quickly as possible and just work it very slowly on the bottom. Just gentle shakes, nothing too dramatic, and you want to be feeling that bottom the whole time, whether it's a lay down, whether it's rocks, whatever it might be. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot complicated to it, and there's not a lot of resistance in terms of fish that's not willing to eat that. So yeah, that's one technique definitely to have a look at. Give it a try. It's definitely going to produce this winter, that's for sure. I think one of the key elements fishing a Shakey Head, what's nice about it is it's very direct. You know, it's not like your Mojo rig or something like that, or a Carolina rig where you've got to wait and then you've got, you know, the bait behind it. This is all together as a unit. And what's key about this technique is, you know, if you're fishing a rock pile, you don't want to be just fishing mud or sandy bottoms. You want to be targeting rock piles. So you want to try and make a nice accurate cast. Your electronics, your fish tech charts and your electronics will help you find those if you have them. If you don't, it will be a bit more challenging. But the point is this: if you make a long cast, let it get down to the bottom, spool some line out, let it go straight down so it doesn't pendulum towards you. As soon as you feel something, we'll describe it as a crunchy bottom. As soon as you feel the rock on the bottom, you feel something there, you're not quite sure. It doesn't actually matter what it is, as long as it's not just dead like sand or mud. You know, if you feel something a little bit different, hey, that feels like a rock to me, that's where you really want to leave that bait, and you actually want to try and keep this Shakey Head in that area for as long as possible. Maybe just little shakes on the rod tip where you're not actually moving it much at all. You're just getting it to jiggle around in position. You know, the fish are going to be around those rocks. They're going to be around those laydowns. So, you know, you don't want it to just kind of land there, lands on the rock pile, and you hop it through 3 times, and then now you've got to make another perfect precision cast again. It's like when you feel something, let it sit there, jiggle it around. You know, if the fish is there, he's going to be watching it. He's going to be checking it out. And a little bit of patience, a couple more jiggles on that area, and you'll trigger that fish to bite. And so it's very important, guys. Focus on those high percentage areas.